Bahrain looking ready to drop some knowledge bombs, and here we are into the draft. So immediately the
No
Skarner. No Skarner. That's an interesting one.
Skarner ban, huh? So looks like Voodoo might have some idea of what he wants to go for, and we're going to see more jungle bans flying through. Okay, we got Monkey out of there. Zac 2 gone. So there is certainly some target bans making their way through. Draven ban. This is already proving to be an interesting draft.
Yeah, I don't really know how to begin breaking this one down, Mac. I think this is just a case of either knowledge from the teams about individual comfort champs on the other side of the field, or just champions that they really don't like playing against. Nico does inevitably get taken away. Jarvan as
J4.
well.
This is
so very non-standard bans, I think, is the big talking point there, it's fair to say.
quick bans, quick lock-ins as well. Looks like all discussions already been had, all prep's been done, and now it's time for some fun. But will it be fun for fun on the Milio? That's the question. Maokai instantly locked in off the back of that one. S3, what is he angling for here?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit surprising that we get such non-standard bans, and then as far as the draft is concerned so far, it's basically as standard as it gets. Man, they're powering through this draft.
They're powering through it, but they're also just picking the power picks as well, right? Zeri, Yuumi, great combination. Maokai, Milio, and now that Kog'Maw. We have seen a little bit of that, but maybe it is a Voodoo special, or Panda special rather, for Team Bahrain. I guess we shall see as the game moves forward. Back into the bans. This is just a speed run.
I mean, I like it, right? If every team could pick and ban this quickly, we'd be into the games much, much quicker, so can't complain too much about it.
True.
There's a little bit more of a standard ban. The Vi is going to be taken away from the jungler of Kuwait. Now, we do already have the Maokai picked up for Bahrain.
5 jungle bans so far. Maokai, relatively safe pick. Great ult as well. Olaf going to be another ban. Looks like they don't want that up top or in the jungle, which you don't see super often these days.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this bot lane's going to play out, because I just think looking at it, the Zeri Yuumi lane scale a little bit better into this game, just be a little bit more of a threat later on, but we do know Kog'Maw does go quite well into the late game. Especially with that extra range coming through from Milio, could be quite the threat. You're the ban, as you say, and Yone. So, again, just... you know, the bans are really surprising me. They're really off the beaten path, so to speak. But the picks have been super standard. So I guess if you're going to look at this as far as the next couple of picks, we're looking for at least a top laner out now from Bahrain. Lissandra, again, not a bad choice. Good little pick up in the mid lane. If you're going to play this front to back style with the Kog'Maw carry, definitely get a lot of value out of Lissandra. She's tough to get past. Into the jungle to try to keep that aggressive flair with this team comp for Kuwait. I would be looking at, obviously, Cassante as being the big pickup here in the top lane, and that does get locked in. So, listen, Mac, I think if you could...
That's a strong composition.
If you could draft your perfect draft in this meta, I mean, this would almost be it for Kuwait. You'd probably like to take a Vi in instead of a Xin, but that was banned.
Yeah, Vi or a Maokai as well, you know, but that, of course... picked by the other side, and we're going to go Sion up top. So Sion into Cassante. It's going to be 2 large boulders slowly chipping away at one another, but looking all around the rift. Down bot will be interesting to see how it plays out. That Kog'Maw Milio, you know, and they're going to be able to steal away that Milio ult, so should be quite safe. There's not a large amount of CC coming through for Team Kuwait. There's more than enough to certainly go for those picks, but you're looking at the team fight, you're looking at the damage, and you're looking at how much mobility there purely is on this roster.
Yeah, it's a super safe draft from Kuwait, isn't it? I really like what they've brought to the table here. I would be feeling very confident if that was the composition that I had just picked up. So I'm looking at them as maybe just having a bit of a slower early game, although that is maybe unfair to say when they've got a Xin in the jungle. Xin Ahri going to be quite volatile, but look, if they can just slowly work their way into this game, they're going to be in a really good spot to just let that Zeri Yuumi farm later on in the piece. Zin's also a great Yuumi carrier.
Okay.
Dive in, get the ultimate across the back line.
Yeah, true.
And obviously Xin sometimes does have a little bit difficulty sticking to his targets if he's not able to hit his abilities, and you know, if there's a lot of peel involved. So the Yuumi will really help with that, with the speed boost and the heal, keeping him healthy. So, you know, you've got some really good options here for the Yuumi if Kuwait find a lead on a couple of members, right? Zeri's obviously the obvious choice, but Ari's good, and Zin as well. So there's 3 champions here that can really benefit from a Yuumi in the backpack. On the other side of the field for Brunei, they've really just drafted the standard front to back. I mean, there's a little bit of flank option available there with the Maokai and the Lysandra potentially as well, but they really will just want to try to set up a shield wall basically in front of this Kog'Maw and try to enable the Kog'Maw to carry. That's going to be the focal point, so we'll expect to see a lot of priority being put down to the bot lane there from Voodoo.
Certainly a lot more CC, but maybe a lot less damage for Team Bahrain. And we'll see if Fun has Fun up top playing Sion, or if he's just going to keep it slow, play that Mega Tank, and just chill for a long old time. Either way, let's see what's going down for level 1. It is just going to be a safe position held by both these teams. So no chance at too much of a ward game just yet. Looks like they're picking out something. I think Maokai has been spotted, so looks like Team Kuwait are fully aware it's going to be that top 2 bot clear unless a rotation comes through.
Cull for both of the carries in the bot lane, so they're really wanting to look to accelerate themselves through the farm rather than through the kills and the aggressive early game, which is fair enough. Double Enchanter support down in bot. We're not really expecting to see any fireworks in the bot lane until the junglers make their way down there.
And Doran Shields up top, so just going for sustaining lane. What we got for the runes? Nothing too out of the ordinary. Too crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it is even an exhaust heal Yuumi, so perhaps a little wary of the threat of the Lysandra. Lysandra gets in on top of the Zeri, then big damage to be done, but exhaust can negate quite a lot of that.
Aklys as well with the cleanse, you know, safe option with how much CC is there for Bahrain.
Very difficult to stick to this Zeri, you would say. But I would expect a bit of a slower game than what we might have seen in our first matchup of the day. Mac, this one, as far as the drafts are concerned, doesn't look like it's going to lead to quite as much skirmishing. If you are going to see anything, it should be from the side of Kuwait. Zin will want to get involved early. I think the Ari will want to get involved early. Both the mid laners feel like they probably do want to try to take advantage of the pre-6 fight. Ari is difficult to kill post-6 because she gets the Spirit Rush, and it's essentially just 3 escape tools. And Dynamo with the Frozen Tomb is going to be difficult to gank as well at level 6.
Voodoo coming through with the Pajama Party skin, so looking to sleep on his opponents, have a nap. That's exactly what I'm doing. Very slow early game, no one getting too aggressive. There's the bot lane, Aklys just going to be shoving this one in, and seems to be having decent time in terms of the farm, hasn't missed too much, hasn't missed anything.
Here's where things start to get interesting. You can see already the invade. Cryo in mid, and so Voodoo, if he sticks around, is going to be in a spot of bother. Charm should connect here. It's an easy angle.
Well, they've split the attention. Voodoo quite low. He's going to think about going for this one, but now that's going to leave 4M all on his own, and he's not going to have the movement to get away from this one. Because he owned up, rotating the cross, and that is going to be Milio securing the kill. So I guess best case scenario for Team Kuwait.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the communication was there for Kuwait. I feel like they just didn't communicate well with one another, right? S3 was looking towards the blue buff.
Did he get it? I think he did.
No, he didn't. He didn't even get the blue buff. So 4M, like, I like the initial trade, right? You get the initial set of damage down onto Voodoo, but instead of progressing forward and going around the left side of the wolf pit, you want to probably go backward, rejoin your teammate at the blue buff there, and at least have a bit of a safer exit. So kind of got stuck in there between the Lysandra and the Maokai. What initially started as a decent looking invade and a decent bit of priority going the way of Team Kuwait has really backfired and blown up in their face.
Mad Fury happy just to hold this wave out before it makes its way to the turret. He's going to try to set up a freeze for now. Fun. Happy to allow it. In terms of the vision game, there was that deep ward on the blue buff, but now it is just pretty dark all across the map over towards mid lane. 4M still has, or had that level advantage, but they are going to keep it relatively even. This next wave gets cleared. No real plates get chipped at yet. No hard pushes coming through. Bit of a skirmish up top, but it is just going to be a you slap me, I'll slap back.
Yep.
Shakes and then walk away.
Noodle slap fight, really.
Yeah. Drake up. Mountain Drake to kick off the neutral objectives, but it doesn't look like anyone's interested in going for that super early here. Again, you've got S3 just looking to go for a slow but sure full clear. And that top scuttle is still up. There for the taking.
Yeah, Voodoo's kind of headed in that direction. Not sure where S3 is going to head. He's got Raptors available as well, and that would be the easy choice. Looks like that'll be the decision in the end, and so the Scuttler will go to Voodoo for free. Pretty much across the board, we're just seeing everyone matching one another. Look, there's a little bit of an advantage up in the top lane, but that's because Mad Fury didn't just base. Fun is returning from base, so he'll be able to pick that up. Bot lane is where we are starting to see a bit of a gap forming, and so for Bahrain, that is potentially going to be an issue. We talked about the late game scaling of the Zeri and the Yuumi. They can get this far ahead in the first 5 minutes. How far ahead can they get over the next 10 to 15?
Yeah.
Dragon.
Real question.
On offer right here for S3.
Yeah, drops that pink ward. Is happy to tunnel away at it. Of course, has the innate healing from the passive, so is able to sustain right through and already has that pick as well. So decent amount of AD damage, bot prio, mid prio, every bit of prio they need to make this happen. Dynamo is going to drop that ward, but it will reveal there's many members here on the Drake and that won't be contested. So very slow early game so far.
Yeah, but I've liked it so far from Kuwait, apart from the one little bit of a miscommunication, little bit of a mishap. I think they've actually looked pretty good so far with the way they've moved around the map and where they've been able to find their advantages. I like that they were trying to put pressure on Voodoo. Obviously, execution was mismanaged, but sometimes that happens. Early game jitters, you know, they haven't played a game yet here at the Road to Asia Games 2022, so maybe just feeling a little bit nervous. So I'm prepared to forgive them for that one. The rest of the game has looked pretty good so far.
Towards that 8-minute mark now. Herald very close to spawning. See if anyone wants to go for that neutral objective. Of course, with that Mountain Drake taken earlier, there's going to be that extra armor, extra little bit of tankiness for the long term for Team Kuwait. And towards bot lane, S3 was hoping he could work on a lane gank there, but will just decide to fall away. And Team Bahrain sitting under the turret, looking to farm up the storm. Resets down there. And mid missing ping comes through. Looks like they are going to try to potentially find the Herald here or lurk in, get an invade beforehand. Snatch away this blue buff.
Yeah, perhaps have the information that S3 was back in base, and so Voodoo's going to try to take the blue buff before he gets there. You would say that
I thought
should
Dynamo might have hit it,
occur.
but stays respectful. They didn't hit the plants as well, so they won't reveal their intentions. For M, going to be looking for that one. Pink ward going to come down, and now it's going to be the pincer straight on the Voodoo.
Oh.
He's going to try to get away. Nice movements. Mechanics. Damn good right now, and the flash will save him.
Yeah, the beauty of that twisted advance for Maokai is that he does become untargetable. So if you can time it right, you can really use it to dodge a lot of big, important abilities.
Yeah, just swapped positions with Mad Fury there, and was able to escape.
Small advantage, but they do recognize that Voodoo's just been pushed out in terms of the priority. So we'll take a look at the Rift Herald, and even Zeri and Yuumi are up on the top side of the map right here for Kuwait.
Ooh,
so
wait. Oh.
That was very close.
I thought the sapling stole it.
Nervy little smite from S3, but
no one hit it with the last auto.
Got it done in the end. Now, this is weird. I mean, the way that this game is playing out, right? Aquas and Chill do come up to try to secure that Rift Herald, and as a result, they now are in the top lane. Mad Fury has to go down toward bot. They have given that Kog'Maw a bit of free farm down in bot, and Tau played as well. So that'll bring him back in the discussion a couple of steps. Who can feel a little bit more comfortable about this trade of lanes? I'd say it's maybe at this stage Kuwait. They do have the Rift Herald. They can put the pressure on that top tower.
Yeah, get some extra gold onto Zeri.
Voodoo's here to help.
We're looking to make it happen, but yeah, Voodoo here is potentially going to change up that strat. Looks like they're not going to dump it just yet. Nice wave clear from Fun. Means that tower is standing for now. Potential for Bahrain to find another plate down at bot here. They certainly will. That one has been split, but it's going to be Mad Fury going all in. Has that ult to play around, but he's taken a chunk of change. At least it scares them away.
Yeah, luckily the tower was hitting a creep. There was one creep left there. But Mad Fury's not making it easy for Bahrain down there in bot. I feel like actually Kuwait have probably come out the negative for this exchange. Another plate does go over to Bahrain, so I don't want to see them get good usage out of that Rift Herald.
Bahrain slowly but surely creeping through with that 1k gold lead. 4M going to use the Unleashed teleport just to get back to lane. Putting high prio on, finishing off his minions. Looking to farm on up. We get the full clear. Reset comes through for Dynamo in the meanwhile. And looks like he's going to get that Everfrost cranking.
Dragon will be up in a second. That'll be the next focal point.
I've seen not super important, but the movement speed, if with the already large mobility from Team Kuwait, would be lovely.
Well, we've already seen the bot laners rotate their way back down, so Aklas and Chill here to try to get priority in bot when that dragon does spawn. They'll overextend here if they go for a ward in that bush. Voodoo is certainly waiting for it. S3 down here as well. Unspotted. No vision at all in the lane.
So the counter gank certainly set up. Voodoo though, Nature's Grasp not going to be necessary just yet. Will invest it, and that's going to be the big route. See you later, S3. But he's going to drop his ult himself now, trying to just walk away. Big damage on Voodoo, but no one's falling just yet. Aqua's going to be able to do big damage while kiting backwards, moving forwards. As 4M is going to be able to come here, won't be able to get a good Q off, and now it is going to be that TP straight
Cancel,
down
maybe?
Fun. The whole team is here, they're looking for it. See you later, S3. And now Kuwait could be in trouble, but the health is so low on a couple of the Team Bahrain members, so they're just going to try to walk away.
Yeah, honestly, it's a real shame that it's S3 that actually goes down here, because if you were to drop the Rift Herald right now, there would be not too many players there from Bahrain that would be comfortable defending that tower.
Yeah.
Overall, a favourable exchange for Bahrain for the moment, but they may lose Dragon off of it. Let's see how confident Kuwait is to go for it.
S3 in that direction.
Rotating his way back in, and if Voodoo hasn't based, he's half HP. On that contest, 4M just comes a little bit too late to that fight. I think if he would have been there a little earlier, we'll probably see it on the replay here. Just keep an eye on 4M. This is a 4v3 right now, and Kuwait are not doing too poorly for themselves, but there's just not quite a good charm angle here for 4M, and ultimately the charm ends up going into a creep.
Yeah.
If he's there another second or two earlier, while Bahrain are a little bit more extended than they were, could have been a real dangerous scenario for Bahrain, but ultimately that timing a key factor, and Kuwait do come off the worst for it. Rift Herald's going to be tossed in the bot lane. We'll see Kuwait try to shove the wave in so that they can allow that Rift Herald to get at least a charge, and then maybe try to do Dragon off the back of that, but a fight starting to brew.
Oh, big damage. S3 going to get fully caught out. Won't be able to heal through that one. And has no helping hands from his mid laner, from his bot laner. They were all busy. And this Herald might not even get a charge. It's been dealt with. Dropped at a terrible moment for Team Kuwait there. And they get no value out of what should have been a couple of plates.
Yeah, this is starting to become a pretty rough game for Kuwait. Second time in a row now for S3 where the passage of play hasn't really favoured him. I mean, I'd say the first time was when they tried to go for that invade on the blue buff, and the second is just there in lane. I mean, previous fight that they had, you know, not too much you can do about that. But this one, he's just sort of caught out. Uses the Rift Herald ineffectively, then gets caught out in the bush. Now gives up his life a second time, so it's been really tough for him to activate in this game so far. Things are looking pretty good in the lanes themselves, but jungle at the moment for Kuwait is becoming a tough point. And the gold deficit is slowly but surely brewing, and Bahrain will grab themselves a free dragon. So Kuwait have to find a way to stop the flow of blood.
Stem that bleeding.
Yep.
Well, no picks yet for Team Kuwait. Still killless.
Some big items being picked up, though, in the last couple of minutes for Bahrain. I mean, the Blade of the Ruin King, obviously a big one for Cogmore. But Everfrost as well for Dynamo just continues to compound the crowd control that Lissandra can drop down. So should be a real threat here.
Yeah. Seen the Everfrost already get decent value down towards that bot lane. Now, the question is, what can Team Kuwait do to try to match it? That Trinity Force online for Aklis. And no one else with that full first item just yet. So things going real slow at the moment. A couple of flashes. They really are hungering for Voodoo, who is going to drop the Nature's Graph to try and survive, but it has not worked at all. And S3 will pick up the first kill for Team Kuwait.
Yeah, lapsing concentration, maybe going for the Scuttler there. You know, sometimes you're just on autopilot thinking, I'm the jungler. Me jungler, me take Scuttler. But in this case, Fun wanted to base. Dynamo was in base, and so Kuwait just able to collapse on top of that. Not only does it end up being a kill, and of course the Scuttler, but now Rift Herald as well going over the way of Kuwait. That's their first big win back into this game.
Yeah. I want to see the attempt at a dive here for him. Going to invest in Flash just to try to get the safety. Also, maybe hanging around a bit too long, trying to clear that wave as fast as possible. Rift Herald going to be used on cooldown. Really just picked up by S3, and now that is going to be the turret going down. Fun could be in a bit of a pickle. He does have a protein shake, which is working up. You can see he's going to start to walk back now.
Sure, I mean, I'll give it to you.
You don't like it?
I do.
Rusty taught me that one.
We'll be able to deny another Rift Herald charge. So Fun's okay in the end, but they have lost their first tower on the top side of the map. It is for an exchange. Bot tower did go down as well. So 1-1, I mean, this has been a very even game. In fact, one of the more even games that we've seen of the last few days.
Yeah.
16 minutes in and not really much to separate the teams. 500 gold difference. Kuwait still at the deficit.
Little rotation from Dynamo. Looking to match for M down bot.
I'm just excited to see how well this Cogmore Milio is going to scale into the late game. I think it's actually a great pickup. If you can keep that Cogmore alive, he is going to shred extra range given over by Milio.
Yeah.
Not to mention he's got a lot of healing tools, he's got a lot of shields, he's got a lot of heals, he's got the cleanse.
Yeah.
He's got the boop as well.
Little knockback. Little boop-a-doop.
Does mean the Panda doesn't have to take cleanse, whereas Aklis did obviously opt to go for that. So Ghost on your ADC can really turn them into a farming machine. Especially on a Cogmore.
We are going to see that Gore Drinker, of course, online now. So S3 gets a little bigger, gets a little harder to deal with, can just face tank a lot, use that ult, Gore Drinker up a storm to keep on healing. And Shirelli is coming online as well. So everyone with their first item for Team Bahrain now. Same still not able to be said for Team Kuwait. Looks like they are going to try to posture and make this fight happen in the river. They're forcing it. Dynamo going to try to catch out Aklis, who's walking backwards. Nature's Graph not going to commit there. I think it did connect, but the cleanse is going to be used. S3 going forward, just trying to get straight on top of him. TP's coming in and income. The top lane is income, the front line. The stun, not going to quite hit 4M, who's looking for another angle. Aklis on the back line, just pumping damage constantly, but they hit the tank at the moment. Elder, low, Dynamo trying to get back to the turret, and it looks like there is going to be the heal coming out from the protein helmet. In the meanwhile, it's all up to him. Fun going to be hitting that zombie form, so the pick will come through for 4M. And finally, Team Kuwait activate.
Yeah, much better from Team Kuwait. That was the first really solid-looking team fight from them. It worked out amazingly well. Have to see when we get that replay, but just the bait and switch, really.
Yeah.
Aklis got a great Q off as well, and was certainly able to start that fight nicely. The Yuumi ult looked like it connected onto everybody, and then slowly but surely, Bahrain, they just got themselves out of position. And you saw that Panda, he couldn't go anywhere, right? He used his flash, he used his ghost in that last team fight, and can't get away from S3. And obviously, on top of that, the RE jumping in there as well. Let's talk about it from the outset. Here is the Yuumi ulti that just keeps Bahrain at bay. They cannot catch up to Aklis. Look at that Q that goes across the wall. Then the rest of the team arrives, and Panda is essentially in the front line, which is not good at all. 4M chases him over the wall. Then S3 hits a nice flash over the wall as well, right on top of that Cogmore. And what we talked about in this draft, Mac, as well, remember that the Cogmore is such a key pivotal piece here for Bahrain, they need to keep Panda alive in the fights. He has to be the one sole survivor, if nobody else.
I think Dynamo held onto that frozen tomb throughout that whole fight as well, so unfortunately didn't get that off. Panda, as you mentioned, wasn't able to kite, wasn't able to get any damage out. It looks like we are going to run it back straight in the river, but this time with the Arcane Drake up, Nature's Grasp going to be rolling on through. There is going to be Lightning Crash used, and I'm looking at Aqua's Series pumping that damage from the back line, and there is nothing that Bahrain can do. They are melting, they are chunking. Dynamo going to be able to use the frozen tomb this time, but it's for Y and fun. He's just running for his life.
Yeah, just can't be fighting like that into Kuwait. They have way too much AoE damage. The Ari chunking through with the Qs, obviously the Zeri as well. And you're talking about the Yuumi ultimate coming down on top of that, not to mention Mad Fury on that Cassante, just dashing all over the place.
Aqua's farming up there, got the double kill, but more damage done as well. You can see he's been involved in almost every single kill, 90% KP. Once this Drake goes down,
it's going to go from bad to worse as well, particularly when Atlas finishes off that Runans. You know, that's just an extra little bit of AoE cleave sort of damage.
Yeah.
And Bahrain, I mean, they do want to front to back, but they don't want to all be standing on top of one another. It would be really nice to see, you know, the Sion, the Maokai in that front line, and maybe the Lissandra coming in from the side, which is, in a sense, kind of what happened here, but just ended up landing right on top of her team. And then look at the value that this Yuumi ulti gets. It hits all 5 members.
Yeah.
Zonya's through from Dynamo, tries to buy some space, but cannot do it. Fun is just more or less ignored at this stage, is really not a threat. And ultimately, pretty much no one goes down. There's just nothing there to keep the Cogmore alive. Also, he didn't have Flash, he didn't have a Ghost in that previous fight. Onda didn't have the heal either, so you know there's a few key pieces of the puzzle missing in that last fight for Bahrain, and 2 fights in a row that have now very decisively gone the way of Kuwait. I think we finally have a bit of direction as to where this game might be headed.
Yeah, S3 picking up that more now, so has a lot of magic resist to deal with Dynamo. Potentially just stand around in that frozen tomb. So we shall see how the game plays out. But yeah, you know, item difference certainly. As soon as you saw Team Kuwait in that last fight, they all finally had that first item online, and they just looked like a whole different squad.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. Runans has been picked up as well for Atlas. Talked about how important that's going to be. Still waiting for the same breakpoint to be hit for Panda. Still sitting on 1 item at the moment. You got a stopwatch that's been used for Dynamo as well, so certainly lacking in terms of the second item upgrades on Bahrain, which is going to be a great time to fight now for Kuwait. They're trying to even force a little bit into the jungle here. Atlas is feeling confident. There's not that much backup for Voodoo yet. It's coming across, but Atlas, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. We did highlight Atlas as probably the most experienced member on the Kuwait side of the field.
Yeah.
And has actually had a flawless game so far. 3-0 and 5-0-0 and 5 for Chill down in the bot lane. Issues were cropping up on the other side of the map, but they don't get flustered, and so far so good.
Yeah. Bahrain constantly answering every time you see Mad Fury TP in, Fun's going across, but it's not happening the other way. Team Kuwait just playing the long game, playing a strong game, and Mad Fury just going to try to zone them away. Good vision towards the back of the Baron pit, but it looks like they are just going to look for the fight sapling, going to give him some kind of vision. Voodoo might go down, and once he does, that means that Baron's going to be that much free. Aquas just constantly going forward, the Yuumi ult as well, just slowing him down. Aquas, he's got so much health, he's so untouchable, and again, Team Bahrain are going to get torn a new one. Dynamo trying to survive in the tomb, but it ain't going to work this time. And it's all up to Onda, all up to Fun to try and stop this Baron from being taken, and they don't have damage to do that, Jordan.
Yeah, Panda is just not getting an angle to play this game, really. There's way too much dive on Kuwait's side of the field. You've got the Xin, the Ari, the Zeri even is happy to charge into the middle of the fight at the moment, feeling super, super strong. 85% on the win tracker. I think that's fair enough. Kuwait look like they've got this one in spades. They have accelerated in the last 5 minutes quite substantially. You are starting to get some breakpoints being hit by Bahrain as well, but just look at this. We saw how quickly Panda dropped straight away. Voodoo has to flash out, and then Panda again is like almost frontlining, flashes away, but still cannot get away. I mean, 4M is just getting so many resets on that Spirit Rush that he's going to chase you through the entire jungle.
Yeah.
And inevitably, inevitably you do run out of those escape tools as the Cogmore, and you do require your team to help you out, and he just didn't get enough help. He didn't. There's not enough for Bahrain that they can even use to help him right now. They're too far behind. It is 5-1 and 7 Aria, 4-0 and 7 Zeri. It's not even as if the tanks can stand in front of you anymore, because they will just melt.
Well, that's that, right? Like, you pick the Cogmore into the Zeri already. The Zeri is just that mobile of a champ. So that's why they picked such a heavy front line with the Maokai, the Scion there. But even so, as you mentioned, they're just not able to stop anyone from getting past them because mobility is just too insane right now from Kuwait.
Mad Fury needs to be a little bit careful here. I don't necessarily mind what he's doing, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, but I mean, think about all this time that he's buying. There's 15 seconds for the Dragon. Mad Fury's not going to die. And in all this meanwhile, Kuwait is taking the liberty of walking through their opponent's jungle, setting it up like a Christmas tree, getting all the wards down, pushing the bot wave in. They have full prio over the Dragon, which is going to be the next objective that they need to take. So Bahrain just getting run around the map a little bit. And once again, they're headed towards the top lane. They, I suppose, feel like maybe we can't contest this Dragon. Let's try to do something elsewhere. But Mad Fury, he's all over that at the moment. You know, just backs away when he feels there's a bit of a threat headed in his direction. And he's playing this one really nicely. I mean, 0-0 and 8 on your Cassante. It's fantastic, right? You're really happy with the way this game is progressing. You don't need to do too much. Charm connects in the bot lane.
Oh, Dynamo barely alive. Will heal up a little bit, but I think he's already in the grave. Going golden, buying more time, flashing away, using every resource he has. And it is just going to be put onto Actus, who wanted to get another kill. He'll get the tower too. And over towards the top, Mad Fury, yes, he may fall here, but even if he does, that's going to be T2 taken at bot, the base is being taken at bot. Yes, that Nature's Grasp is there, but it's going to be another resource invested just to be bought out again. Now there's going to be supers pushing into the base in the bot lane. Team Kuwait are doing everything right from the mid game.
Yeah, that is just absolute pain for Bahrain at this point in time. It's really a mirror, right? Down in the bot lane, the pick happens, and so Bahrain decide we're going to try and get a pick in top, but not only do they not get the pick, they're also given the runaround and they can't defend their base, and so it goes from bad to worse. Kuwait, this is a huge Baron power play. If they weren't winning this game already, then I think you know where it's headed.
Hello, Fun could be getting caught off here.
Has to TP to safety.
He is just going to TP out to mid. It was the only option.
Feels bad. Feels real bad. Baron's disappeared now for Kuwait, so a little bit harder to push into the base, but they are so strong that I don't think it's going to matter.
Yeah, that T2 is not going to last too much longer. Slow on the Dynamo, but Team Kuwait deciding, you know what, we don't want to go for the full commit on this fight. We don't want to flip it. We're just going to go back, spend all our hard-earned gold, and come back even stronger. Yeah, one fight territory certainly right now for Bahrain, particularly if there are super creeps pushing into their base from that bot side of the map. Yeah. They need to be really careful with their engagements. For him, 100% KP right now. Getting involved in everything that has gone down. Good on him. It's what you want to be seeing as the mid laner. Especially the Ahri, very strong roaming champ, and getting involved is exactly what you expect. Yeah, you do have the easiest time of getting involved around the map, so that's what you need to be doing and having that early impact. Ackless. That Titanic Hydra online, which is a bit scary. You don't want to be behind any of those shots as anyone because the cleave is so damn dangerous. Look how fast these waves fall. And now they're just trying to set up again. Still a minute and a half before that next Baron spawns. And Voodoo going to get caught out. He won't be able to last too long unless he invests the flash, which he will. But even then, it's just going to be the Yumi going straight on in. Voodoo, that's the Nature's Grasp before falling. But I don't think there's going to be enough to turn it around. They're going to be fighting under the tower. S3, he's trying to find it, goes golden, tries to draw that attention. Mad Fury looking to tank a couple of shots to make this one work. But they're playing silly. They're playing a very dangerous game. It's a fragile one. Fun will fall, but Ounder might just be falling to Mad Fury, even though the health looks so good. Team Kuwait, this game's done. That is perfection from Kuwait, and they will take their prize. It's a couple of Nexus towers, and of course, the Nexus as well. A very slow early game, drawn out early game with a couple of mishaps from Kuwait, but ever since we got into the team fight stages, ever since we got